I didn't notice the mirror when I first checked in. It was late, I was exhausted from the drive. And the kind of tired where your brain is fogged over, just trying to get through the motions. I remember the receptionist gave me the key to room 6 and said, "You've got the quiet end of the hall." That's all I really registered at the time. Room 6 was a typical, slightly outdated hotel room. Nothing fancy, just clean, beige, and functional. Bed against the wall, faded carpet, a small armchair under the window, and a freestanding wardrobe tucked into the corner. The mirror was hung on the wall directly across from the bed, wide and rectangular with a thick wooden frame. But something about it felt wrong. I didn't really look at it until the next morning. I'd had a weird night's sleep. No nightmares exactly, but I kept waking up thinking someone was standing at the foot of the bed. That heavy heart in your throat feeling like something's just moved or someone's watching. I chalked it up to travel fatigue and bad lighting, but when I got up and glanced in the mirror, it struck me as off. The reflection looked slightly darker than the room behind me, just a fraction. Like the lights in the reflection were turned down a notch, and I could have sworn the wardrobe door in the reflection was cracked open. In real life, it was shut tight. I actually turned around and checked, twice. Nothing. I blamed the warped glass, the kind you find in old buildings where nothing quite lines up anymore. I didn't think much of it, not really. I had meetings all day anyway. It wasn't until the second night that things really started to slip. I'd gone out for dinner and came back just before 10. As I opened the door, I paused because the mirror across the room caught my eye again. It looked like there was someone standing in front of it, but when I looked directly at it, the reflection was empty. I assumed I'd seen my own shadow move across the hallway light behind me. But as I stepped in and let the door close behind me, I felt this sudden cold pass right through the room, like a breath. That night, I left the lamp on. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, trying not to look at the mirror, but I could see it in my peripheral vision. Around 2 a.m. I woke up, not startled, just suddenly wide awake. The room was quiet, too quiet. Even the hum of the air unit had stopped. I turned my head to the left, to the mirror. There was someone standing in it, not in the room, just the reflection, standing beside the bed, exactly where no one should have been. I sat up, and the moment I did, the figure was gone. The mirror showed only the room again, empty. I didn't sleep after that. I sat up with the light on, and my eyes fixed on the mirror for hours. I even took a photo on my phone, thinking maybe I'd catch something. But when I looked at it, it was just me, wide-eyed, pale, and exhausted. By morning, I was telling myself I'd imagined it, that it had to be sleep paralysis, or a dream I hadn't realized I'd slipped into. I went downstairs, asked for a different room. The receptionist looked surprised and said, "Of course. Is there something wrong?" I said, "The mirror is weird." She paused. I caught the flicker of something in her face before she smiled and said, "We can move you to room 3 if you'd like. No questions asked." Room 3 had no mirror, not on the walls, not even in the bathroom. But I couldn't stop thinking about room 6, about how real it had felt, about that figure, about the way the mirror seemed almost to show a version of the room that wasn't quite ours. And so, this is the part I wish I hadn't done. I went back. 3 nights later, I asked to stay again. I requested room 6. The woman at the desk didn't hide her hesitation. She asked if I was sure. I said yes, and told her I'd left something behind. That night, I brought a camcorder. One I use for work sometimes. Low light, long recording battery. I set it on the nightstand, angled just enough to catch the bed and the mirror. Then I hit record, left the lamp on, and lay down. I didn't expect to sleep, but at some point I must have. At 3:12 a.m., I woke to a tap, a soft hollow tap, tap, like someone rapping their knuckle on glass. I stared at the mirror, and the mirror stared back. I didn't see anything in it at first, but slowly I realized my reflection wasn't quite right. I was lying on my side, but in the mirror, I was on my back. My hands weren't visible, but in the reflection they were clasped tightly on my chest. I was smiling. That version of me was smiling. Eyes wide open, mouth curled in this unnatural grin, frozen like a death mask. I shot up, and instantly the mirror snapped back to reality. I looked just like me again, terrified, sweat-drenched, sitting bolt upright in the bed. I ran, left everything, camcorder, my bag, everything. I didn't check out, didn't even look back down the hallway. When I got home 2 days later, I forced myself to go back and pick up the camcorder. Staff said they'd found it and locked it away for me. I thanked them, took it, and left without a word. I watched the footage. It's grainy, dark. The lamp flickers a little, and for most of the night, it's still, until 3:12 a.m. At that exact moment, the image glitches. The mirror ripples, just slightly, like water. Ow! And then, standing behind the bed, is a figure. Tall, still, no eyes. Just a pale human shape staring down at me. The thing is, it's not in the room. It's only in the mirror. And as I toss in my sleep, the figure tilts its head slowly to the side and smiles. It stays there for 23 minutes, just watching. Then at 3:35 a.m., it vanishes. Clean, like it never existed. I've shown this to 2 people. One screamed, the other cried. I don't play it anymore. I don't sleep near mirrors. I haven't looked at my own reflection, really looked since that night, because sometimes when I walk past one quickly, I think I see myself still smiling. Just for a second. Not quite in sync. I can't shake the feeling that one night, the reflection will keep watching after I turn away, and one day, it'll smile just a little too long, and it won't stop. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening. If you felt that chill, if something about this story stayed with you, then you're exactly the kind of person this channel was made for. Subscribe to 13 Whispers for more real ghost stories, unexplained encounters, and the kind of tales that don't let go after the video ends. Please, like the video if this one unsettled you, and leave a comment if mirrors creep you out now just a little more than they used to. New stories every week. And remember, some whispers aren't imagined, they're invitations.